Bit cannon.
It's a bit cannon.
Yeah, so I guess
Bit by bit.
it's supposed to be like an electrical robot master, but bit, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Maybe
The
it's
name
like
doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
He literally shoots bits of data that are like electrical, I guess.
Bits
But
of data. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of TNG clips on on YouTube, the bits of data.
TNG.
Okay,
What?
yeah,
Next
the next generation, yeah.
Oh,
Star Trek.
okay.
I think Oil Man's level had the Sniper Joe. So do we want to go to Oil Man's level, or
Right.
do we want to check one of the other levels out?
It's up to you. I wanted to go back to talk about Fantastic Four because
Yeah, we
I
can do
want to
that
say
while we
that
play. Actually, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
let's pick the next level.
let's go Oil Man because Oil Man sounds retarded. I mean, from all the names they could have come up with, it's like
And I think I beat this level too, so that bodes slightly better for us then.
is it just gonna be a slippery level the entire thing?
Oh
So,
god, yeah,
yeah.
this looks exactly like that other level in the DOS game, except now there's oil everywhere.
I like how
Yeah.
Mega Man can take a bath in the oil.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Mega Man's
isn't
getting
that like
oiled
good
up.
for you?
Yeah, just like C-3PO in Star Wars. Thank the maker. This oil bath is
What-
going to feel so
Dude,
good.
Oil Man Kaiser from Family Guy, greased up oil guy.
In
Man.
America! Yeah, that guy.
I have no
That
idea what
guy,
that
yes.
is. Oh god, it's the evil flower.
He's just a weird cameo character, and he's just this greased up old guy. He just runs around.
Me.
No, that's the pedo guy. That's the old pedo guy.
Oh Jesus, did you see that?
Well, no, I don't know. Maybe. Wait, maybe.
Look at that guy on
They
the
both
top.
got similar voices.
Look at that guy on the top. That's an ant with the head of a cobra.
Yep,
That
yep.
is an ant with the head of a cobra.
Cobra ant, friendly neighborhood Cobra ant.
Where is your god now? Okay, hey, there's Sniper Joe. Look, it's Sniper Joe. Yay!
Hey.
He's still as annoying as ever with the
Wait,
shield.
why is the X-Men logo surrounding this level?
You know, that's like that rare crossover Mega Man X-Men cross. Technically, though, Marvel and Capcom, they're they made multiple. They're just coming out with their new game, where you know who the villain is? It's literally like oh yeah, it's Ultron Stigma. It's Ultron and Dr. Sigma who combine.
Oh, God. You know, hey, Dorobka, have you played? Oh God, have you played Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe?
Sadly not. I would love to
Oh,
play
yeah.
it because I love the idea of the crossover. I need to
do
get
you
a
know who the final
console.
boss in that game is?
Dark Side, maybe. Shao Kahn. Shao Side. Or Dark Khan.
Yeah, there you go, Dark Khan. Yes, Shao Kahn and
You
Darkseid
see?
get fused in the game forcibly, and they become Dark Khan.
So literally Capcom rips off the same idea, but with their two biggest like enemies. Nice.
Yeah. All right.
But the trailer for the new Capcom versus Marvel game looks pretty funny because there's literally a scene where
Hope you guys-
Rocket Raccoon.
Hey
Yeah?
guys, for everybody in the audience, I hope nobody thinks less of me, but I'm actually having a really good time playing this game. I'm not kidding. I actually, this is just like, you know, I just love Mega Man so much. Even this half-assed version of Mega Man, I'm just enjoying myself way too much.
It looks
But
like
hey.
the game looks like a below-average platformer. I think the reason why people it rightfully so hate on it is that it has the Mega Man thing. If this would be like some generic character, like just Robot Man, whatever, it would be. I guess it
Robot
might.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like something I would have made up. Oh god. You know the
Blue Bomber
this is so
something.
cringe. I gotta share it to you. You know, I had the old when I was really little. I made the comic of Mega Man. Kaiser's seen bits of that, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, the one that I drew when I was really little, and because I couldn't read any of the names when I was still playing these, but I did love like Proto Man. I thought he was a bad guy because I didn't know any better at the time, but Did I tell you what I used to think his name was? And I think I got the wrong impression because a friend of mine told me this name, and it stuck for a while.
Right.
Red Man? Red Man?
No, not Red Man. I don't know what the fuck, but just because I guess it was cool to me as a kid, I called him Karate Man.
Nice. I like it.
Okay.
I would mix up characters too sometimes. Like my cousin and I, we thought at one point when we just found out about the X-Men when we were real little,
Yep.
that Wolverine's name was X-Man.
Oh yeah, I
But
probably
there
thought
is
that too. Yeah.
there is an actual character in the X-Men, but he's from an alternate universe. Nate Gray's the son of Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and his superhero name is X-Man, and he's got like it's weird because his power comes like from his eye, but it's like a combo energy psychokinetic power, and he's like really powerful and some shit.
Oh, there's a Met. There's a Met. Look at that.
Yep.
Oh, it's so cute. They can take a beating. Like they take several hits to kill. It's not like it's not the whole. Oh, I lost. I ran out of extra lives. Okay.
Well, it says press S to select a new boss.
So let's try one more level, and then we'll.
Let's go
call
Wave. Let's ride the Wave.
Let's
man.
go. Let's go, Blade Man. I would say, or I guess Wave Man. I don't know.
I would really want to try Blade Man's level because I don't want to do another water level.
He looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog villain,
Oh, yeah.
and he's got a very 90s name.
Well, he looks
Blade
better.
Man.
I know this is gonna sound weird, but he looks better than the actual Blade Man from Mega Man 10. I've said this, but I've gone on record saying that Blade Man from Mega Man 10 is one of my least favorite robot masters.
Well, this is
like
the original Blade Man, technically.
Yeah.
If we're just talking about from time-wise.
Yeah, and oh god, it's this level. There is water in this level. It's just not a water level.
I thought it's gonna be like blades and shit, not. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, we got to see the Mets and the Joes. That was really the important. That was really.
Oh, there's the blades.
Yeah, there are blades. They're like propeller blades. I don't know what this
I guess so.
hazmat suit man is supposed to be.
He's kind of ballsy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's hazmat
Matt
suit.
Man.
Man.
He's been in pretty much
Hazmat.
every level so far. Man, how do I get out of this water? Ugh. It's making it really difficult. Come on. He's clearly trying
just
to
a
jump
generic-
out. There we go.
I mean, there's all this
nothing
toxic waste
here.
shit.
I did all that,
There's
and
all
there's nothing here. Ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just quick back to Fantastic Four. I will say this about the movie. I kind of like Doctor Doom. In comparison to the other ones, he's been still my favorite because they did try to keep him very classic.
Yeah, I thought Doom's costume was good, but maybe it was just the version that I was watching. But I couldn't not understand a word he said when he had the mask on.
Because they did it wrong. They did it well, like in Star Wars when Darth Vader talked, David Prowse, and then they basically replaced his voice because he literally talked through the helmet.
Yeah, they didn't
Like, they
do
should have
any
redubbed
ADR
it,
on that
but-
movie for some reason, so that's kind of weird.
The
Another thing
problem-
I will say about the '94 movie is that I actually thought that Ben Grimm's costume was actually surprisingly good. I actually liked it. Like I've seen
It
like
was-
the trailer and the short bits. Like it does look really weird and cheap. But then when I saw it in action, like I was like, whoa! Like
It's not as bad. Like, I think the worst special effect for the most part is that, because they didn't care and they didn't care about this, they could have made it much better. But Roger Corman was specifically told to keep it as cheap as possible.
oh yeah, it had a $1 million budget, just $1 million. That was the whole budget.
That's nothing for a even in 1994. That's nothing.
Yeah, well,
especially if it's a high budget superhero or science fiction.
The guy who was responsible for that whole dealio was some German dude who was the owner of Constantine Film at the time. So
Yeah.
and it was and the full story goes is actually it's Avi Arad who stopped them from releasing it because he wanted to buy the rights to the Fantastic Four, and he thought that if they released it, then there would be no value in the franchise because they made that one shitty movie.
There's sadly no value in the franchise because of the shitty, especially the last Fantastic Four. At least the ones from the early 2000s, they had their problems, but they were at least decent.
Yeah.
They at least had some spirit in them.
But this new one, the last one...
This is an idea that's been going on in my head. Like, I didn't completely... I know you hated the Dorupka. I know you hated the new one completely, but I thought there were some good parts in the recent one. And I think I need to do a video about that, like what I thought were the best parts. But it had a lot of problems, don't get me wrong. I thought there were some really crappy things about it that I don't honestly don't know why they did
for
some
example...
What?
They completely wasted Doctor Doom yet again. Like, at least the Doctor Doom from the other movies looked kind of cool, kind of thing. And at least the sequel had a decent Silver Surfer, although he didn't have enough scenes in it.
Another thing is, like, there are other Fantastic Four villains. That's the other problem I always have is that why do they always have to default to Doctor Doom? Like, it's always like, there are other characters. Like, I really want to see Namor one of these days. I want to see the whole when
Namor is a separate rights thing. Namor is a but Namor is a separate right thing because
I know.
Actually, I've heard that it belonged to Universal, but Marvel I think regained the rights, at least most of them, except distribution, because apparently that's a separate thing. I found out a couple of months ago, but. Which doesn't make sense. But the idea is that Namor, apparently the rights are returned, so they're at Marvel, which is cool. But I do agree with you. I think Namor would be a better first villain. I think almost Doctor Doom should be more like an Avengers villain, or like where you have the Fantastic Four, but they team up.
Personally, I would like to see Doctor Doom as a Spider-Man villain.
He could be.
He's been several times.
I think he should be a Fantastic Four villain, but he shouldn't be the first. I think Namor is great, and also if they regain Fantastic Four, you also get Galactus, which should be an Avengers villain.
Oh, don't remind me how bad Galactus was portrayed in Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Have I told you guys about what my first exposure to Fantastic Four was? Actually.
What was it?
Yeah, I didn't watch there was a cartoon in the 90s, but I didn't see it because it didn't air over here.
It wasn't that bad, actually. It was pretty decent.
Yeah, the theme song is cheesy as fuck, though. I gotta admit, it's really...
It was the 90s. Every cartoon theme song was cheesy.
But my first exposure was... Actually, they did a retelling of the origin story in the 90s. It was... I don't know what it was everywhere else, but in Finland there was this publication called... this magazine called Mega Marvel, because... And that's kind of weird. I just recently bought a Spider-Man comic. So what they do over here is that they actually go through like all the different publications, and I guess they kind of pick stories and put them in together, and that's how the finished Spider-Man comic, for instance, gets published over here. But so they had the thing called Mega Marvel back in the 90s, and it had the retelling of the Fantastic Four's origins, and it was like super. The art was like super 90s, but I loved it. I just thought
I think yes, when they rebooted Marvel in the 90s, and it was all like fucking the typical uber muscular people and shit. Yeah, was it the Ultimates version? Was that
No, the Ultimates were in the early 2000s, but the Mega Marvel.
Yeah, that's another retelling.
Yeah, but the thing about the fuck. Okay, I think I'm gonna die here because I remember this part.
This guy?
No, those wall turrets, they're indestructible. So all you can do is, first of all, it kind of tries to guess where you are and shoots there. Okay, I think I'm now clear. Yes.
Okay, it's like semi-homing. Okay.
Yeah. So but again, this is likely. Oh, it's another Met. It's guarding the next one.
I like its little eyes. It looks like, stop bothering me, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, see how many bullets it takes to kill that thing.
I think this Met actually looks at the player into his soul and saying, why do you play this game? I will
This
curse
Mega
you.
Man villain is cursed.
But I was just saying that there's a frame of there's a frame in that retelling of the Fantastic Four origin story where Sue and Ben Grimm when Sue discovers that Ben's turned into the Thing, and it's like she's like she's just like falling down. She's on all fours, and it's like an image from her back to reveal the thing, but like it's still like close up on her like really toned Invisible Woman butt. So
oh yeah, she's been always one of the hot ones.
Yeah, so
sure.
That's the first time
it's cheesecake stuff for sure.
That is the first time I remember getting excited reading a comic book.
The first time I remember was with Mary. What's her name? The girlfriend from Spider-Man. Mary Jane. When there's like a shower scene and there's the whole like, she literally you cannot see her like really nude, but it's just because it was nude enough, you know. She like held her sponge right over her tits or something, so it was good times.
People tend to shit on this is something I've noticed. This is something I've noticed. People tend to shit on comics from the 90s, which always kind of hurts me because that's when I got into comics. So, but like, you gotta admit, that's when comic book butts and titties started to get really well defined.
Oh yeah. Like there was good comics out there. For fuck's sakes, like I remember when they restarted the X-Men, and I read that. Man, there was fucking Psylocke, and all of them looked like fucking supermodels. And there's an entire scene where the X-Men are swimming in the swimming pool, and then Psylocke comes out in her bathing suit, right, like barely covering anything, and then fucking Scott Summers, you know, Cyclops, he's sitting there, and he's just like his jaw drops, and Jean Grey's all pissed and jealous, of course. So it's fucking great.
Let's not forget the infamous Marvel swimsuit specials.
They were fair though back then. Even then, it was also all the guys. So
it was.
Yeah.
You get to see a glorious picture of Punisher wearing a skull over his crotch and nothing else.
Yep.
Oh,
that was a thing that existed.
No. Come on, get in there.
They did it because they wanted to draw all the chicks hot, and they said they're gonna complain if it's just the chicks, so we'll do the guys too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this was when Marvel was cool. Now it's all SJW nonsense. So sadly,
okay.
Every classic Marvel character pretty much has been replaced by some, I don't know, like some alternative version that is not, for the most part.
Oh god, this is the biggest bullshit in this whole level. There's that laser turret thing, and then there's goop dripping from the wall that hurts me. So I gotta time it so that the goop and the laser don't.
History?
Wow, I got lucky there. So I had to time it so that the goop and the fucking laser don't hit me at the same time.
Would you say it's the biggest bullshit in bullshit history?
Might as well be. Okay, this is where I died last time. This is weird. Like the enemies don't respawn when you kill them, so it's actually much easier to make your way back here. But well, somewhat easier. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Oh god, this part. Ugh. Okay. Oh, and there's another turret.
I love all the plants and shit. He should have been called like Sewer Man or something. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I gotta flip these.
Or Greenhouse Man or something. I don't know.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm getting a little tired of this bullshit. So once I get a game over, or once we get to the boss, it's gonna be end of this part. But I do want to, if I have a chance to get to the boss, then. I don't know. This level is really weird. It's got like two parts. There's that part where you're going down the tanks, and then it turns into the sewer part. So it's like two levels. Ooh. Okay.
Looks like a weird mixture of Mega Man and Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
They actually do have a Turtle Man, right?
No, I don't think there is.
No?
There's Toad Man.
Oh. Wait! In the X one where they have like animal thing instead of man, they have like
Mega Man
Chill
X,
Penguin and those guys.
I think this thing is indestructible. I guess I gotta ignore it then. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can't get past. Ugh, there we go. Oh, it's every bullshit water enemy all at the same time. Oh god,
Yep.
this is a pool of death. I have to find a way out of here.
The
Oh,
pool of death, and there's the
All right.
boss.
It's a Deadpool!
Deadpool.
Oh, nice. Nice. Hey, switch. Why don't you switch your weapons then? Fidget spinners or something.
Because he's just jumping around. He's not doing anything, and my normal weapon is just doing perfect damage.
A lot of it just hopping around like la 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 la.
Yeah, this is what most of the enemies are like. Bitman was like an outlier. He had a completely different attack pattern, but the rest of them are like this. They just hop around back and forth.
Jump around.
I won it! Oh god, okay. I think we gotta end this episode now. Like, we've seen enough of this game. Except...
Oh my god, that weapon looks so retarded.
That. Yeah, that's not a fidget spinner. That actually looks pretty deadly.
It looks like Roll's vacuum cleaner attachment.
Yeah, except it's got like a fucking blade in it. It's like a garbage disposal or something.
It's like some insane, like mad scientist came up with like... They're technically made by Dr. Wily, right? So it is a vacuum with a spinning blade on it.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's more than enough Mega Man 3 DOS for one episode. So when we come back, we'll be playing another DOS game. So guys, you got any last words here before we end the episode?
See you in the next box episode.
Yep.
Box episode.
See you later, guys.
Okay, bye.